What's going on, fishy friends? Rich here, Rich's Fishes, back with another video. And as I promised last time, I got an unboxing video that's actually going to happen this time since I ran out of time last time with the other time, and stick around for this time. Fishy, fishy, fishy. So, like I said, another unboxing video, guys. Been doing quite a few lately. No, I did not win the lottery or anything like that. Just with the new year and the holidays being over, I finally had a chance to, you know, sort of secure my finances and make sure I was able to spend what I needed to spend on the fish room. Talked about it a lot recently, how I got some plans to upgrade the fish room, expand, add some new tanks, add in some heating into the room itself. I have a lot of trouble figuring out which way I want to hold this. What was I saying? Expanding the fish room, heating the fish room, spending money on things, unboxing things, remnants of old unboxing things. That's actually something I didn't unbox on video down there. That is some of the camera accessories I bought. Like I said recently, I'm using this new camera, and I don't know if I like it or not. I'm stopping and fiddling with it. I've gotten an accessory of sorts. The camera doesn't have any shoe points, and I was able to buy this handle thing that allows you to have shoes on it. I don't know if I need the shoes for anything like a light or a microphone. I did buy a lapel microphone, but I don't like the way it sounds. Maybe I'll plug it in for the unboxing part of the video. Tell me if you guys can hear any difference in the audio. I'm more interested in whether or not it cuts out some of the background noise. The air-driven sponge filters, the bubbles out of all the tanks, just the humming and the buzzing in general of everything in the room. So maybe the lapel mic will cut down on that, but so far I'm not so thrilled with it. There's the 55. And let's see, I'll set up the tripod, and we can start talking about my plan for what I was going to talk about. And if anybody can see, there's the return address. That might be a clue as to what's in the box. We'll see what's what. Alright guys, so here's what we got. That new microphone is plugged into the camera now. Let me know what you guys think, if it's any different. Background noise, let me know if that shows up better or worse on some of this stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and open up the box that I got from Tom Bar here, and we'll see what's in here. Dun dun dun. This box looks like it has been put through the ringer. There is a giant gash in the side here that's been taped up, and there are things rattling around like crazy in the bottom of this box. I'm not all too concerned because I know what's in here, but it still sucks to see that this thing was drop-kicked. Not only was it drop-kicked, the air pockets don't have any air left in them. And what we got is a big old box of Driftwood. Now, some of you might have been able to see the cost for the shipping on this thing alone was close to 60 bucks. Now, I've worked with Tom before. Not that I've worked with Tom before. I've ordered from Tom before, and quite frankly, dealing with him is a bit problematic. He is certainly not in the business of selling driftwood. He's a hobbyist first. He runs his own forum over at the Bar Report. He is he's very well respected in the hobby and everything. And obviously, selling driftwood is not the main way that he earns a living and deals with life. But here's what I got, a big old box. Let's take a look at some of these pieces. I'm already liking what I see. I've ordered 2 or 3 times, I've ordered boxes of driftwood from Tom Bar. And once or twice I received something a little bit different than what I had hoped for. But Tom always made good. And matter of fact, once he even sent me a supplemental box. But I'm already really liking these pieces. This piece alone is probably worth what I paid for the entire box. Now the problem with driftwood is how to unbox it and where to keep it without ruining it all. I'm walking back and forth, I don't know what to do. Alright, let's place it on the floor right there. Oh, this is a really cool piece too. Some of these are, basic branches, basic twiggy stuff. But when you combine them with a lot of other things, it could be something kind of cool. This is a cool piece. Look at this spot right here where the wood turns inside and out and twists back up and around. The character of that wood is fantastic. And just like I've gotten in the past, there is growth, you know, there's vegetation on here. And now I'm not sure if that is just what was growing on it in the wild, wherever Tom collects this stuff, or if somebody used this in a tank and was using it as part of an aquascape. But look at some of the knurled edges here. That's really, really cool. I'm loving the character that this wood has already. Now, if anybody's ever purchased driftwood in a store, you know this stuff can be pretty pricey. I never like talking dollar figures on stuff, but this is roughly $200 after I paid for shipping out of this total box. So all in all, I think that's a pretty good deal because, you know, pieces like this at the local fish store can go for 25, 30 bucks. And pieces like this at the local fish store can go for 75 to 100 bucks just by itself. I've seen pieces like this for. This is a really nice twiggy piece. Matter of fact, this piece still has some leaves on it. I might be able to determine the type of, I wouldn't be able to determine. Someone smarter than me might be able to determine what kind of wood I'm looking at just based on that leaf right there. If you're an arborist or a botanist or just smarter than I am, feel free to chime in below and let me know what I'm looking at. This looks like the type of leaf I often see on silk flower arrangements, actually. Not that that helps me figure out what it is, but again, somebody smarter than me might be able to. But this is really cool. You know, nice thick branches that end off in these tiny little branches, which are going to degrade and eventually fall apart in the tank, but still kind of cool. Especially with this root system over here. This is really cool too. I can see this being used in a variety of different ways. Fortunately, I'm not the greatest aquascaper. I don't have a very good artistic eye. I have a lot of trouble envisioning what something might look like in the end, and I usually just end up throwing a bunch of crap in a tank and seeing how it looks and go, that's good enough. But there's no way to get better unless you try and keep on doing. So that's what I always like to do, is keep on trying, learning as I go, and in theory, I get a little bit better each and every time. And what I've done in the past with driftwood is I've boiled driftwood. Wow, this is a really cool piece too. This end over here, let's see how it kind of comes down and then wraps around underneath. Very interesting gnarled pieces. I'm very, very pleased with the character that this wood has. Because that's the nicest thing about real driftwood, is every piece is so vastly different and so full of character and interesting stuff. This looks like knotwork done with fancy ropes. This is really, really cool stuff. This might look really cool in the 12-gallon Mr. Aqua long tank. I could picture that sort of sitting just like that in the tank, right across the bottom and coming up into the top of the tank. That'd be pretty dope. You know, then some more generic pieces, I'll call them, which are still beautiful pieces full of character. And driftwood has a lot of natural benefits to a fish tank. Driftwood ends up releasing tannins into the water, which can give water a tea-colored look to it. It can stain the water brown. And some people dislike that. I myself have disliked it in the past. However, it's very natural, especially for an Amazonian type tank, for a blackwater tank, and there are a lot of beneficial properties in the tannins. I can't explain the science behind it, but I know a lot of fish love it. Betta fish love it, apparently. Discus like it, Epistogramma like it, German blue rams would like it. Almost any softwater fish is going to like it, and it is very, very beneficial. There's some medicinal properties to it. Again, I can't exactly explain why or how. This reminds me of a piece of Malaysian driftwood more so than any kind of manzanita. But again, big, thick, full of character. This is a really cool piece. I could picture this in a tank full of some bristlenose and they would just chow down on this stuff. A lot of cool pieces, a lot of cool pieces. So like I said, sometimes I'll boil this wood, and that's twofold. Well, that's threefold. It'll kill any parasites or bacteria or any living organisms that might be growing on it, which I'm not too concerned about. Maybe I should be, I don't know. Boiling it's a big pain though. Obviously you need a giant pot. I ended up going around to all the thrift stores near my house trying to find used soup pots. I even went to a couple of delis and restaurants. In the end, I ended up getting a set of 5 stock pots from Harbor Freight. Relatively cheap. I might have even returned them after I used them, to be honest. Excuse me. And what did I just find? I think I just found a spider hanging off the wood there. I'm going to go ahead and kill that because I don't know what kind of spider it is. Can I kill it? It's actually a gnarly looking little spider. I don't know much about spiders. But I'm going to go ahead and kill that because I'm not sure if it came with the wood and if it's something that I might be used to around here. So, boiling it will help release the tannins. It will also waterlog the wood. If anyone's ever bought driftwood out of store and thrown it in a tank, you might be all pissed because you watch the wood float. And sinking it can be a little bit difficult to begin with. One of the best ways for wood to sink is to get it waterlogged. And they will eventually sink on their own, sitting in your tank and getting waterlogged. Boiling them will sort of force them to get waterlogged quicker. As well soaking them for a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and soak these, and I'll show you guys how I do that in a little bit. It's really not much to it, but I have a couple of tubs already set up where I had been soaking wood in the past, and I've recently used it all up. I think I talked about when I got those latest German blue rams and a pistogramma, I realized I had been keeping all that driftwood and never did anything with it, so I used a lot of it in a bunch of my tanks, and that's why I went ahead and ordered a bunch more from Tom Barr here. And this stuff's fantastic. I couldn't be more happy with this. Which is great, because like I said at the beginning of the video here, I had one or two times where I didn't get what I had hoped from Tom. And this time he definitely came through. There's another cool little Malaysian type piece. I'm still not sure where anybody collects this stuff. You know, I don't know if this gets picked up out of the ocean, out of rivers and lakes. I believe there's a particular season in certain states out on the West Coast for the most part where you're allowed to go and collect this. You may need a license or a permit or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on the specifics of it. And yes, you can go around your own community, neighborhood, wherever the hell you might live, and you can find natural driftwood. That's all. Any driftwood in this hobby, if it's real wood and not man-made, was collected from nature somehow, somewhere. Wow, this piece is really freaking cool. Look at this thing. This will be really nice in a big tank. Oh, I can't wait to rescape a bunch of tanks, which isn't going to happen for quite a while until my redesign of the fish room is done with. But I can see some cool stuff happening here. And actually, the more I look at some of these pieces, the more I'm thinking the totes that I use to soak this stuff might not be large enough. Which could be a problem because I don't have room for anything larger. Another real cool, gnarled piece. And besides this large box that I got from Tom for about 200 bucks, for closer to $1,000, he could have sold me a pallet. I think it was 4 foot wide. It was a 4 foot square base by about 7 feet tall. I mean, that would have been driftwood for days. And quite frankly, I was tempted to pick that up and potentially start reselling some of this stuff. I just don't have room to store a giant pallet of wood. Tom sent me a picture of this, of the pallet that he sold in the driveway at his house, and it was almost as big as a pickup truck that he had in the driveway there. All right, so Tom's got an extra piece of wood in here, so I don't think this damage here happened during shipping. I think Tom just had a ripped box and I threw that in there. But what did get, I don't even want to say damaged, I mean, it's not necessarily damaged, but you can see how much breakage ends up happening with all these tiny little pieces. And I'll go dump all this into the bottom of those totes that I was talking about before. So let me pause the video and get that thing set up and see what I can't do there. All right, guys, so here's what I'm talking about. Down underneath a couple of my racks, I got these Rubbermaid totes. I don't know if they're specifically Rubbermaid brand. And you can see it's dark, murky water because I've had driftwood soaking in here for months and months and months. And these are a bunch of large pieces from that last big batch I got from Tom Barr. And you can see after they soak, their color changes a bit. They darken up. And what I've done is I've just let an air stone run in here continuously. Even the air stone's turned black. And I just let the air stone run just to keep the water moving, just so it doesn't get stagnant and get all funky on me or anything. A couple of twiggy pieces. I tried to separate it out. I got another tote on the other side of the room. This was sort of my larger, chunkier stuff. And I'm going to try to fit some more in here right now. So I'm going to keep going with the larger stuff. And you see, that new piece that I just got from Tom wants to float. It doesn't want to float, it does float. And I'll have to go and add some more water to the tub. No big deal. But I just got to be careful because this stuff is delicate and can break easily with the little twiggy stuff. But that's what I asked Tom for, so I can't be upset about that. And I am certainly not upset about that. What I am upset about is the fact that my totes aren't going to be big enough. I'm going to have to come up with a plan B this time, perhaps. But we'll see what we can do. And I'll go ahead and soak this for as long as is necessary. At the very least, long enough so it sinks on its own. And potentially even longer, just like last time, depending on when I get around to using it. I like having it available to myself. That's one thing I've learned in this hobby. Sometimes I'll let things sit around for a while with the intent of using them. Well, how about these tanks? Case in point, I got 2 empty 12-gallon tanks that I've never used. One of these days, I'm going to get off my high horse and I'm going to fill these tanks and aquascape them and actually use them as fish tanks. Wouldn't that be cool? All right, guys, I'm going to put the camera down and keep working. Alright guys, so I couldn't fit all the wood into those tubs like I wanted to, so I'm going to go ahead and fill up these Mr. Aqua tanks and just let the driftwood soak up here in them. This is in no way a scape of any sort, although it could be. The way I typically scape is doing exactly that. I throw them into a tank and say, hey, that doesn't look half bad. I tend to like natural. Nothing wrong with that, right? Alright guys, so everything's in that one and tucked away. I decided I'm not going to fill these tanks actually, just because once I do, the wood's going to want to float out of them, and because of the limited space I have above, I don't want to do that over here. So I'm just going to temporarily store them like this for now, and I'll just go get another one of these totes and somehow find a couple of square inches of empty space somewhere in the fish room to store more crap. I'm doing really good at fitting more stuff than should have ever been in this room. Alright guys, once again, I was not prepared to be down in the fish room. I'm still wearing a long sleeve shirt from my day at work today, and I'm sweating like crazy in an 80-something degree room. I don't even see a thermometer in front of me right now. Let's go take a look. That says, the hell does that say? 82, 84, something like that? Too damn hot to be wearing a long sleeve shirt and jeans. And the sweat glistening off my face probably proves it. So anyway guys, comment, rate, subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs down if you don't. If you've watched this long, you deserve the opportunity to hit that thumbs down button. Go right ahead, don't feel bad. And don't come back and watch if you don't like what I'm doing. That'd be silly of you. Everybody else, come on back next time, hit that subscribe button, tell me what you like to do. Follow Rich's Fishes on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and right here on YouTube. Later guys.